we've already spoken about all the points of information, order, personal privilege, and parliamentary inquiry. Let us move to another basic concept or topic, which is order of disruption, before particularly understanding what motions really are. So, this is going to be of use in a lot of spheres in an MUN conference. Once the chairperson asks, are there any points on the floor? And all the points have been cleared thereof. Then the chairperson asks, are there any motions on the floor? Now the chairperson is looking for motions to move the committee ahead, right? And in this case, there might be more than one motion on the floor. So the chairperson might recognize country A, then country B, then country C to propose the particular motions. Now there is a way in which motions are proposed. So for example, if you want to establish GSL and I'm India, if I want to establish GSL, I would say that the delegate of India would propose a motion to establish the general speakers list with individual speakers time being 90 seconds. Only if I speak in these particular terms will my motion be in order, otherwise it will not. And once a motion is accepted in order, more than one motion is accepted in order, they all have to go to vote. And I did talk about seconds and voting, right? So you should be clear of that particular topic by now. So when the motion goes to vote, who decides which motion goes first? There are two ways in which a chairperson can proceed. One is simply the order in which the motions have been proposed. The second is widely used, order of disruption. The most disruptive motion is voted upon first. And what does disruption actually mean? The most disruptive motion is that motion which allows most people to speak in that particular time. For example, if you have a motion to suspend formal debate and move into an unmoderated caucus in which there is no formal debate happening and everyone can speak at any moment. So therefore, that is the most disruptive motion. However, if we talk about motions in moderated caucus where this order of disruption is mostly used, so moderated caucuses are those in which you debate subtopics and debate specific subtopics. So for example, if country A proposes a moderated caucus on the topic ABC and individual speakers time being 60 seconds and total time being 20 minutes, in this 20 people can speak. If the second motion is about some topic, individual speakers time being 60 seconds and total time being 10 minutes, in this 10 speakers can speak. So this automatically becomes less disruptive than the first one. Now consider a third case. In order of recognition, it is actually third. However, if the motion proposed so proposes that individual speakers time being 45 seconds and total time being 20 minutes, in this case more than 20 speakers can speak, and therefore this motion becomes most disruptive, and therefore if any chairperson is going by order of disruption, it will be this motion which is voted upon first. Obviously, if this is passed, then the other motions stand negated. This is order of disruption in most simple terms, and when you keep on MUNing, you keep on getting a hang of it. Now, let me talk about something which is also important for an MUN, though you keep on learning it and many people have their own ways. How do we propose motions and how does a motion come into order? We propose motions following a very particular and formal tone in which you are advised to stick to certain basic guidelines so that your motion does not go out of order. For example, after setting the agenda, now let's move to establishing general speakers list. After setting the agenda, you need to open up debate. In any MUN conference, by convention and logic, the first motion which should be proposed is establishing general speakers list. General speakers list is actually a list which is continuously pursued until the end of the conference. Therefore, it has no total time. Anytime there's no other motion, there's no other moderated caucus, there's nothing, the committee itself reverts back to the general speakers list. And what actually happens in general speakers list? It is your basic statement and presentation, whatever is happening in the committee. If you've seen the United Nations General Assembly in the month of September when they have the annual session, the world leaders address the United Nations General Assembly, and there is not a sort of a debate. However, they come and make speeches, long speeches, such speeches which are made from a podium and have the right to be yielded to others, and I'll talk about who yields right now, are the general speakers list in most simple terms. There are more technicalities, however, I won't touch them upon right now. So, what happens in a general speakers list? Once the chairperson asks for any motion on the floor, you raise a placard. So, once you raise up a motion of establishing a general speakers list, the conventional rule is that the standard of fixed time of a general speaker is 90 seconds per speaker. However, if you want to amend it, you can make it 60 seconds, 45 seconds, but mostly people let it be 90 seconds. So the basic motion will read that, thank you, Chair, for recognition. The delegate of maybe USA would like to propose a motion to establish, because there's nothing old which has already happened, to you're opening something, so you establish speakers list with individual speakers time being 90 seconds. That is standard, right? Once saying this, the chair will ask for voting. When the chair specifically asks for delegates wanting to speak in the general speakers list, so a lot of people will raise their placards because they want to make opening speeches. This is something which is an opening remark or an opening speech, and therefore the chair would note an order as per the discretion of the chair. After a few speeches, the chairperson might want to shift to a specific area of debate for a more specified sort of debate now, and therefore the chair will again ask for motions in this regard. For example, if you talk about war on terror, you need to talk about terrorist financing. You need to talk about economic links to these terrorists. You need to talk about political links to these terrorists. All these are subtopics, and for those, we have something called moderated caucuses. In general speakers list, whenever you have left over time, you can resort to something called yields, and this is what I'll speak about in detail now. For example, if you had 90 seconds and you've utilized only 70 seconds, the chairperson will offer you for a yield of 20 seconds, and that is what we will discuss in detail. So, for options, 3-4 types of yields. One is yield to the executive board. Yield to the executive board, it means that the 20 seconds are given to the executive board. Then there's something to yield to another delegate. Now, what happens when you yield to another delegate? Another delegate of your choice can speak for the left 20 seconds. And the third and most widely used, and I would want everyone to use this because it sort of boosts a lot of confidence when you are actually given questions on the spot and you have to answer them on the spot, is yields to point of information. When you yield to point of information, it shows your confidence, and when you yield to this point of information, then the chair, depending on the amount of time left, asks for, are there any points of information? And then you are posed with questions which you can obviously, as I spoke about earlier, reply via chat or reply on the spot. Obviously, replying on the spot shows that you are well versed and you have thorough knowledge of your matter.